Hey everybody, this is DJ here, and 2 years ago, I've uploaded a video of me building all the planets in our solar system. Yeah, that video actually became super successful with a lot of views, so I was determined to go and make another video a year later, where I started building dwarf planets. And now, in this video, I have returned once again to go and work out another awesome build. And today I will be building all the moons in the solar system. Obviously that is a huge task since there is over 800 moons in our solar system. So just to keep the numbers down, I will be only building 5 moons for each planet, just to make it short and simple. And also a quick note, I will be building all these moons at the same size, regardless of the size ratios from the planet. Since there are no moons for Mercury or Venus, we're going to go and get straight to Earth, our home. Earth has only one moon, and that orbits around our sky that we see on a daily or nightly basis. The moon is given many names, such as the moon, or in Latin it is called Luna, or in Greek is called Selene. Next on the list is Mars. Mars only has 2 moons, and those names are Phobos and Deimos. Phobos was discovered in 1877, and a little fun fact about Phobos, it actually has a slow rotation speed, meaning it has a crash course heading to Mars, and its collision is scheduled to hit around 50 million years from now. Deimos was also discovered in 1877, and a little interesting fun fact about this moon that it is named after the son of the Greek god of war known as Ares, similar to Phobos, which both moons actually have a relation in between Mars and its main Greek god of war. Next planet is Jupiter, and Jupiter has at least 95 moons, but reminder, we're still going to cover 5 moons. So the first moon we're going to be covering is Europa. Europa was discovered in 1610. And a very interesting thing about this moon, it is technically an ocean-like moon or planet. Because of its tidal forces, it is largely impacted by Jupiter's gravity and heat, making it a very large ocean. The next moon is Amalthea. Amalthea was discovered in 1892, and an interesting discovery about this moon is that its atmosphere is very low dense. So the minerals within its own atmosphere can actually float on our water on Earth. The next moon is Io. Io was discovered in 1610, and probably the most interesting or spotlighted information about this moon that it is a very volcanic moon, meaning it has the most amount of moons than any moon or planet in our solar system. The next moon is Callisto. Callisto was discovered again in 1610, and a little interesting fun fact about Callisto that it has a salty ocean underneath its own surface, similar to Earth. So this gives some possibilities that life could be living on this moon. And the next moon is Ganymede. Ganymede was discovered again in 1610. And so far, in our own recollection, Ganymede is actually the largest moon in the solar system. Because of its size, it actually has its own magnetic field. The next planet we're going to cover is Saturn. Saturn has the most moons than any other planet in our solar system, having at least 270 moons, and there is a lot more that we have not discovered yet. The first moon we're going to talk about is Titan. Titan was discovered in 1655, and a little interesting information about its atmosphere is that it is very thick and super dense. Visibility is very hard to see through this, and even more interesting, it contains nitrogen, but it is way more than what Earth has in their own atmosphere. The next moon is Rhea. Rhea was discovered in 1672, And a little interesting fact about this moon and our moon on Earth is that both are tidally locked. If you don't know what tidally locked means, is that the moon's face or side, specifically one, is always locked in our view. The next moon is Tethys. Tethys was discovered in 1684. And a very large fact about this moon, it has the biggest crater in the entire solar system. And the name of this crater is actually named Odysseus. The next moon we're going to be talking about is Dione. Dione was discovered in, again, 1684. And a very interesting thing about this moon, regardless of the size, it once had similar Earth-like conditions just like us, because it has tectonic plates, wispy terrain, and a subsurface ocean. The last moon is Mimas. Mimas was discovered in 1899, and it has the most craters across its entire surface. One of which of those craters, the largest, is named Herschel, which gives a familiar look to the Death Star from Star Wars. The next planet on the list is Uranus. Uranus has only 28 moons, but again, we're going to cover 5. So the first moon we're going to talk about is Miranda. Miranda was discovered in 1984. A little fun fact about this moon, it has a very unusual surface, filled with a lot of craters, ridges, cliffs, and an insanely large canyon. The canyon on this moon is 12 times deeper than the Grand Canyon in America. The next moon is Ariel. Ariel was discovered in 1851. A little fun fact about this moon is that it is only 118,000 miles away from Uranus. So this means its orbit around the planet actually only takes 2 to 3 Earth days. It is that short. The next moon is Umbriel. Umbriel was discovered again in 1851. Little fun fact about this moon is that it is Uranus's darkest moon, reflecting only 16% of the sun's light. And it's not actually the darkest moon in the solar system. The next moon is Titania. Titania was discovered in 1787. Similar to Earth, Titania has seasons. And if you don't know how seasons work, it is always regarded on the tilt of a planet or a moon. So Titania being tilted was actually impacted by Uranus's gravity and tilt rotation. And lastly is Oberon. Oberon was discovered in 1787 again. With no interesting facts about this moon, there is an interesting observation about it, in that it has a red tint. This is very unique compared to most moons how they look, but it's probably impacted by its surface or atmosphere, but it requires more study and exploration to look upon this moon. And the last planet on the list is Neptune. Neptune only has 16 moons, but these moons are actually very interesting, unique, with interesting facts that's very out of the ordinary. It's because possibly these moons probably came from something else. The first moon we're going to cover is Triton. Triton was discovered in 1864. Before we talk about Triton, just a little fun fact that most moons, planets, including galaxies, actually rotate counterclockwise. But Triton, that rotates clockwise around Neptune. This actually means that Triton came from the Kuiper Belt before Neptune's gravity started to pull upon the moon and started rotating around it. The next moon is Neried. Neried was discovered in 1949. Little fun fact about Neried is that its orbit takes at least 1 Earth year long to make a full rotation around Neptune. It is that far and also super long. I will actually present a picture of its orbit around the planet. Next moon is Galatea. Galatea was discovered in 1989. And those of you who don't know this is that Neptune does have a ring just orbiting vertical, similar to Uranus, but it's very small. It's not very visible to us. With that being said, Galatea's orbit around the planet is using its own gravity to help maintain the ring's arcs around the entire planet. The next moon is Hippocamp. Hippocamp was discovered in 2013. A very interesting fact about this moon is that it is actually Neptune's most smallest moon, and it has a chance that it will leave Neptune's orbit and gravity. This is largely due to another moon, Proteus, because its gravitational pull is pulling Hippocamp away from Neptune. And lastly is Larissa. Larissa was discovered in 1981, and a very odd fact about this moon, it has a very irregular shape, and this is pretty much largely impacted by craters, proving that this moon has been through a lot of collisions and impacts throughout the years and generations throughout cosmology. And that is basically it. That's all of the moons. Only 5 for each planet though, I know. I'm like, even if I did build all of the moons, it would take way longer than I would expect it to. But I actually learned a lot when building and researching all these moons, so I hope you guys learned as well. And I really applaud this. This was such an amazing project, and I would still love to add more to the solar system. So if you want to start suggesting things in the comments, go for it. So please leave a like to this and subscribe. I would appreciate it because I've worked at least 3 months for this entire big project here. But I hope you really enjoy it. If you really did, just click that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later in another video, probably next year. Bye bye.